Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about negative thinking and the emotional ABCs, because that negative emotion that you're currently feeling is stemming from a thought, is a result of a thought. Now, many people, they can't pinpoint the thoughts that created the negative emotion they're experiencing, but it is there. There was that original thought. Now, as somebody who overcame anxiety, I now have this conscious awareness of thoughts, and I'm able to use my analytical brain and say, no, I don't want to believe in that, or no, I reject that. That's silly. That's stupid, right? And I'm challenging my beliefs stemming from my unconscious processes. Many people struggling with anxiety, who've experienced a lot of trauma, who are stuck, who are continuously weighed down by catastrophic thinking, particularly if you're suffering from health anxiety, their beliefs are low resolution. Their beliefs over their health, low resolution. Their beliefs, poor beliefs, maybe stemming from their parents, unconscious programming that needs to be burnt off and updated. These beliefs need to be explored. I believe this is a good thing. I believe this is a bad thing, right? But that's an example of well, maybe that isn't such a bad thing, or maybe that good thing that you believe in is not so good. It needs to be re-examined. You need to explore that further. So I hope this video helps you to start that exploration, because you can lessen negative thinking. You can increase the resolution of these beliefs inside of you. Now, the first thing I want to touch on is the emotional ABCs. Well, the A is awareness, so there's a trigger. For me now, I can be aware of, that thought is making me feel a certain way, or I know where that emotion came from because I thought that thing. So there's the trigger, but then there's the belief, right? Your belief of, that's a good thing or that's a bad thing, right? And then there is the emotional consequence. The C is the consequence. So how do you feel? Do you feel good or not so good? Now, we all create associations as we progress in this world. We associate certain things as good or bad. We learn fears and we can unlearn fears. Well, and to an anxiety sufferer, they have to work on these associations and challenge their current beliefs and their current map of the world. And so I want to talk about reflexive thoughts. Reflexive thoughts are well-practiced, well-trained thoughts. So someone who comes to my coaching sessions would say, okay, well, I feel these negative emotions. I can't just track I'm not aware of the trigger. So they don't know the belief behind it. They just feel the emotion because it's well trained, right? They don't know their beliefs behind it, and they're not so much aware of the trigger. They just feel it. And it's just been well practiced. And well, the first thing I want to say is that it takes 1/10,000th of a second for an impulse to travel through the brain. 1/10,000th of a second. That's quite quick, right? You won't catch that. And if it's well practiced, then you definitely won't catch that. So for me, what I started to do and what I teach other people to tackle negative thinking is to unravel beliefs, is to use the analytical part of your brain, your left hemisphere, to problem solve, because that's what it's there for. The right hemisphere is for more imagination, images, right? When you're daydreaming, when you're picturing something in your head, that's right hemisphere. It's like a child who's afraid of the dark and they go into the crawl space. And what does their brain populate with? Monsters, potential monsters, spiders, bugs, creepy crawly things. That's what's going on in the right hemisphere. You can look at the right hemisphere as chaos and the left hemisphere as order, right? The left hemisphere is for more analytical thoughts. Use that mind to problem solve. You can engage in this rational voice to calm your system down. Calm the chaotic brain. Are you more in this side of the brain in total chaos without engaging in the guard? It's like there's a security guard in an apartment building and the security guard is out on lunch 24/7. And so anybody on the street is walking into the building, right? Any old belief, any old thought is just coming into your unconscious mind. That's what's happening. And I started to challenge these negative thoughts with rational thoughts. I started to question, right? With the analytical mind, and I would say, so what, right? It's like, so for example, when I was suffering from health anxiety, I would feel pain and then I would get a negative emotion. But then I would say, so what? And then my unconscious would be like, well, it could be this. And then I'd say it again, so what? Well, it could be this. I guess it's not a big deal. And I started to problem solve these fears of mine, and I started to feel a lot better. And I started to dig up beliefs, right? I started to realize that, wow, my belief about my health is so bad, or I don't know much about my unconscious processes, or I don't know, I could be working harder to exercise more. And by saying, so what, I was identifying poor beliefs just by engaging in the rational, analytical mind. So powerful. I was like drawing out this map of the world that was so poorly drawn. I was trying to take this chaotic map and get an eraser and start to work at it through analytical thought. Now, the left hemisphere, it can produce emotions as much as the right hemisphere, right? Because you can say, oh God, what if? Those what if thoughts can send you to anxiety. But I was more in my right hemisphere. I was more there's no analytical guard questioning things. It was more just letting negative thoughts and beliefs come in, and I would walk around consistently with a negative emotion. And then I would start to act as if. I would change my physiology. I started to say, well, how do empowered people act? What do they look like? So I started to change my posture, and I started to feel better. I started to walk with more confidence, and at the same time question my irrational, chaotic brain. Question past beliefs. And by shifting my lifestyle around, I was doing that. And I also wore an elastic band on my wrist. So whenever I would catch myself in a negative emotional state, I would slap the band and then change my thought to an empowering thought. And this is CBT at its finest. You have to literally train yourself like you are a dog. This is what you have to do. You have to show yourself that these thoughts do not define you. These thoughts are poor, low resolution beliefs that need to be challenged. The more you challenge them, the higher the resolution becomes, and well, the less it negatively impacts your mental and physical health. And so now I want to go over some questions that you need to ask yourself. These are really great rational questions. The first one is my thinking based on fact? Is it fact? Or is it something that I believe? Well, if it's something that you just believe and things aren't working out for you, then why would you want to continue to go by that belief if things aren't working for you, right? So is my thinking based on fact? Does my thinking help me reach my aim? Well, no, because I'm avoiding work and my relationships are dwindling and my health is deteriorating. Does my thinking help me feel the way I want to feel? If no, then the thought is irrational, right? So if you answer yes, is my thinking based on fact? Yes to, does my thinking help me reach my aim? And yes to, does my thinking help me feel the way I want to feel? Then their thought is rational, right? The belief is of a high resolution. And so anxiety sufferers, they pay attention to what validates their beliefs. They believe they're unhealthy. What happens when they're out in public and they see a billboard of a cancer, or they hear somebody talking about a disease, they perk up, they're stimulated. Well, because that is fitting with their beliefs. They believe that I'm unhealthy, I might have an illness like my mom had, or I might die of cancer like I know of John who died of cancer, or and so instead of engaging in rational thought saying, you know what, if it kills me, let it kill me. I don't want it to define my life. So what if I die of cancer? So what if I have a heart attack here? Or so what if I throw up here, or if I faint here? So what? So what? Start to challenge these thoughts and you'll realize that, oh yeah, so what if I faint here? And what, I'm gonna feel embarrassed in front of other people? So what if I feel embarrassed in front of other people? Yeah, so what? It's kind of freeing, right? It's like, so what? Okay, if it comes up, let it come. And you see how freeing that could be just by questioning those beliefs? It can free you of the shackles of your negative thoughts. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. Thank you so much for being here with me. Leave your comments below. What do you think? What are some strategies I talked about in this video that worked for you, if you've done any of them? And lastly, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.